Is that the Pastula theme song? He's a rambling man. Welcome back, folks. It is the Ray Lucia Show, featuring none other than Gene Pastula, certified financial planner. Back a couple of weeks now from Italy. Have you? You were getting the shakes like mid-afternoon for a nice glass of wine or a cocktail, but I noticed you're a lot better this week.
Down, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Glad to have you back home. Don't ever take like 2 weeks off.
Good to be back. Yeah, it's a way long time.
It's too long.
You know, more than 5 days away from my blankie, and I get a little nervous.
I've done it once in my life, and I swore I would never do it again, and I haven't. Maybe I'll change that someday in the future, but it is a long time to be gone, especially when you're used to, you know, doing the daily routines that we do and so forth. Okay, so before the break, and I cannot explain to you how important this program and this segment is, because it defies a lot of the conventional wisdom that is out and about with regard to your retirement planning. Now, I talked about a 35-year-old couple. I know what you're thinking. I'm not 35, I'm 50 or 60 or whatever. I'll get to that momentarily, but just to review, the 35-year-old that purchases a life insurance policy and annuity at retirement and puts the rest of the money, and we're talking about $15,000 total for everything, the rest of the money into the 401k, which turned out to be $9,000, had an income of $82,000 starting at age 65, and at age 100, a legacy value of $2.1 million, whereas the systematic withdrawal, what most of you are doing, target date maturity funds and all that stuff, would have had an income of 40% less, $58,556 compared to the $82,000, and a terminal value of $649,000, a disadvantage by about 228%. That's a 35-year-old. Now, I know you're saying, Gino, what about the 50-year-old? So the 50-year-old's income disparity, $65,106, and this is setting aside, by the way, $32,000 for retirement. The 35-year-old obviously gets away with $15,000, but they had to inflation adjust that for somebody that's, 50 years old now. So their income's higher, everything else is higher. $65,000 income with the life insurance policy and with the partial annuitization, $94,675, 45% more income. What's more important to a 50-year-old? Being wealthy when they're 65 or having a check for the rest of their lives that's 45% higher? Being wealthy. Okay, fine. You want to go with that? They die at age 100. How much is in the stocks, bonds, cash, systematic withdrawal portfolio? $265,000. That's what the kids get. How much is it when you cash out the life insurance policy and the other assets? $1,460,000. I know Gene's head is spinning with the numbers. Yours probably is too. I don't do that to confuse you. I do that to let you know that there are people out there doing their homework on retirement planning. They fly a bit under the radar because they're not with the big wirehouses. You don't see them on CNBC all the time. They're not talking about how Apple's going to go to 8,000. They're not discussing that. They're talking about the practicality of retirement planning and legacy planning, something this guy sitting next to me has spent the last 40 years doing. So there you have it, Gene. Whether you're 35 or 50 or 70, I want you to talk about 70-year-olds with IRAs here.
Sure, give me the hard one.
Yeah, it is a hard one. But talk about that, because I know in the workshops that we do around the country, you're going to be discussing this.
Yeah, actually, I have been working on fine-tuning some of the information in our summit, upcoming summit.
Which, by the way, is May the 30th. That's
2 days
Saturday.
from now, yeah.
Portland, Oregon, Hotel Monaco. Get there at 8. I will personally serve you breakfast. I won't make you the omelet, but there will be an omelet bar. Just go to accreditedinvestorsummit.com. Portland, downtown, beautiful hotel, been there. 888-629-1299. You can call that number, accreditedinvestorsummit.com. You do need a reservation. You do need to be an accredited investor. Go ahead, Gino.
I forgot what I was going to say. No.
Well, when you get old, that's what happens.
One of the things that we're finding that we're doing a lot more with now because of this show and other things that are driving people toward us for more information and for assistance, is working with individuals that are in their late 60s and early 70s who are, from an insurance point of view, from a historical life insurance point of view, nobody buys insurance when they're 70 years old. You buy insurance when you got a family that you don't want to leave, destitute because of early death or something like that. Well, but when you're 70 years old, 35-year-old, it's an if I die. And in fact, that people talk about, well, I'm betting that I'm going to die, and the insurance company is betting I'm not, and I don't like that. And so that's the thing against insurance that people don't like about insurance when they're young. When you're old, there's no bet. You will die. The insurance company knows you will. They just don't know exactly when. But in any event, you take a relatively small amount of money, and either deposit that with the insurance policy, annually, or a larger lump sum at one point in time, and you create an estate value that's significantly high. The leverage is relatively amazing, depending on when you're looking at it in the time frame. The rates of return to the heirs. The legacy rate of return is amazing, all the way up into the 90s. Rates of return of 5 and 6 and 7% tax-free. A classic example that we had just in the last month or so was a couple who had a portion of their retirement plan in an annuity that they were wanting us to evaluate, and we looked at it and said, this is a great annuity, you want to keep it, it's perfect, but there's a feature in it that says you ought to start taking the money now on it because it'll advantage you to do so. They were in particularly good health. The bottom line was, it generates, after taxes, about a $14,000 a year. This is a small portion of their retirement plan, a $14,000 per year net amount of money. So what do we do with that?
So they didn't need to spend the $14,000 on their living expenses,
etc. That's right.
So now you're going to leverage that $14,000.
We did, and we set it up, and we used what's called a joint policy, where between the two of them, we put $850,000 life insurance policy that will pay when they both pass away.
So $14,000 a year buys $850,000 of
for
death
these
benefit.
people in their early 70s.
And that's on the second person to pass.
The second person pass. They're about 2 or 3 years, I think, difference in age.
Okay, keep talking. I'm going to do the math on that, baby. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
It came out to be around, when we looked at the rates of return that the insurance companies' illustrations quote, it comes out to be about 7.5 or 8% tax-free rate of return if they both live into the middle 90s.
That's incredible.
It is. It's amazing.
10.51% with a 20-year joint life expectancy. With 25 years, it's 6.71. That's tax-free.
That's almost age 100. Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And of course, these people are in good health, so they got some good rates on it. But in this category, the insurance companies, a couple of them in particular, are really fine-tuning this to get that as high as possible. So, when people are looking at, I don't know how many times I've talked to people in my seminars and what have you, asked them to raise their hand if they were taking required minimum distributions from their pension plans, and then saying how many wanted it, keep your hands up, and most of the hands went down. And so that's a robust group of people.
So here's the thing.
Here's something to do with it.
I've only got 30 seconds. I want you to sell me one of those for Jeannie and I, for my grandkids. I think that's a great idea. It's awesome. $14,000 a year. that, you know, if we make it to age 95, it's still 50% better than we could get in municipal bonds.
It's all relative. I mean, it could be $5,000 a year, it could be $25,000 a year. The point is that you're taking that money anyway.
Right.
What are you going to do with it? Put
All
it
right.
in a money market account? You know,
We'll
go
take a
out
break.
to dinner?
Stick around. I'll do Q&A with you. You want to keep talking? I'll let you keep talking. Just stick around. Gene Pastula,
That's the
certified.
rambling part.
You want to stick around for the second hour of the show too? You can co-host it with me. The Ray Lucia and Pastula Show, back after this.